Ooh, let's get the microphone in here so you can hear me better. Yes, sir. All right. Hello. Steve says he's here again. He shouldn't be, but got a quiet bit at work currently. Good. So, the plan is to talk about the new World Health Organization guidelines, but I've got a piece of news to get to related to the channel. Funny story. We're going to do a little bit of poking around in just a minute, but let's start with the actual topic that I labeled the show with. We're going to talk about this article from the New York Post. Who warns against COVID-19 lockdowns due to economic damage? So that's that might put a new spoke on the old wheel, right? Who warns against COVID-19 lockdowns due to economic damage? This from the New York Post. The link is in the description to the article. But let's read the news here. Let's sign up for special. World Health Organization has warned against leaders against relying on COVID-19 lockdowns to tackle outbreaks, after previously saying countries should be careful how quickly they reopen. Let's not forget, this is the same World Health Organization that said masks are bad and then said masks are good. The same World Health Organization that said it can't be spread by human-to-human contact, and then it lives forever on surfaces, and oh no, it dies immediately on surfaces, and oh, and by the way, now it's airborne as of, I forget the dates on that one. We got to as late as March or April before they were actually saying it was airborne, which is interesting because if y'all watch the vice presidential debate, Kamala Harris made it a point to say, "Oh, and Trump knew it was airborne back on January 28th, and wouldn't it be nice for us to know that?" As of January 28th, all of the scientists, Kamala, were saying it is not airborne. If Trump said it was airborne on the 28th, he was the only one saying that. And funny story, turns out he may have been right. So, more of the science catching up to Donald Trump. What's really interesting about this at the time of the election, and I'm gonna get to talking about early voting in just a minute too. What's especially interesting about this currently is that the Democrats, basically their biggest line of attack right now is Donald Trump doesn't follow the science. Well, the fact of the matter is, turns out the science follows Donald Trump. Steve asks, is this going to turn on a who's on first thing? You know what? Maybe it should. Who was driving those tanks? Or should I ask, was who driving those tanks? So anyway, if the World Health Organization is now saying that lockdowns are bad, then the Democrats have to either agree with the scientists or disagree with Donald Trump, but they can no longer do both. Because if they disagree with the scientists, or rather, if they disagree with Donald Trump, if they keep pushing national lockdowns like they have been, then the science is now against them. Or at least the scientists are against them. So you can either agree with the scientists or you can disagree with Donald Trump. But you can no longer disagree with Donald Trump and pretend to be following the science. That has been the case for a while, but this makes it a little more glaring. So, WHO envoy Dr. David Nabarro said such restrictive measures should only be treated as a last resort, the British magazine The Spectator reported in a video interview. We in the World Health Organization do not advocate lockdowns as a primary means of control of this virus. The only time we believe a lockdown is justified is to buy you time to reorganize, regroup, rebalance your resources, protect your health workers who are exhausted, but by and large, we'd rather not do it. Nabarro said tight restrictions cause significant harm, particularly on the global economy. That's just a fact. That's just an interesting fact. Lockdowns just have one consequence that you must never ever belittle, and that is making poor people an awful lot poorer, he said. So, of course, as it goes on, they go on to argue that lockdowns are especially hard on minority communities. And, that may be the case, but if it's if a thing is devastating to everybody, then why should anybody care that it's more devastating to a particular group of people? How would it be? I mean, would the lockdowns be a good idea if it hurt white people more? I mean, is that what you're telling me here, guys? So, how's about we go with, oh, this bad idea is a bad idea for everybody, and therefore, let's try to not hurt anybody. That seems like the more reasonable approach to me, right? Steve says, we called the econ damage when they first broached the subject, didn't we? Steve, as far back as November of last year, Cameron and I were digging in hard on this. We were pointing to it. Hey, this is going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem. China has weaponized sick people. China has weaponized sick people, and this is going to be a big problem. And the result is going to be global panic, manufactured crisis from the U.S. Democrat Party. We've seen that. And artificially destroyed global economic situations. That has been the result. Period. When you look at the Dems want to talk about how badly Donald Trump has mismanaged this, the majority of deaths in this country have happened not just in blue states and blue cities, but specifically in blue places, in Democrat-run districts, where they went out of their way, not where they happened to, but where they went out of their way to not only send sick old people back to nursing homes, to send high-risk COVID-positive patients back into target-rich environment nursing homes where the average person has the 2.3 comorbidities that are killing the vast majority of people. And let's not forget, the vast majority of all COVID deaths have been people who are older than life expectancy. And of those, the vast majority of those deaths have had 2.3 comorbidities. They're old, and then they've got something else like their obesity, heart disease, asthma, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, diabetes, something like that, right? So you get all the comorbidities coupled together, and suddenly, yes, you're having a problem. But let's not forget, those same places, Trump took decisive, specific actions early on. He sent the Navy hospital ship to New York for them to use to help deal with the overflow, and they didn't use it at all. Trump spent U.S. taxpayer dollars on setting up emergency locations, putting hospital beds into stadiums, setting up military field hospitals, sending the USS Mercy to New York. He sent the other hospital ship, I think, to somewhere on the West Coast. I want to say it was up in Washington. And they went unused. So he literally put the resources in place for people like Cuomo and de Blasio to have the resources available so they didn't have to send the most vulnerable patients who were COVID positive back to the most vulnerable population of target-rich environments where the COVID was likely to do the most damage. And they simply refused to make use of the resources, despite the tax money already having been spent on it. You want to talk about someone who's mismanaged this thing? Look at every blue district. And then you look at what Biden says he's going to do differently, and it's, well, here's the Trump plan, and I wrote my name across the top of it. He's copying the Republican homework, right? Joe Biden, the most notorious plagiarist in history, and I say that advisedly, I dare you to go and look up who else has been noteworthy for plagiarism and find another case where a noteworthy plagiarist has been busted so many times at so high a level. What you will find is academicians who they've called it, please, research. What you will not find is other politicians, public figures. You won't find mass plagiarism like what Joe Biden has done on multiple occasions throughout his career, where there have been effectively no consequences. I mean, okay, he dropped out of the election in the 80s when he got busted for plagiarizing that speech, but the fact of the matter is he has suffered no real consequences. Just like the Democrats that are reciting the same tired and debunked talking points against Amy Coney Barrett in her hearing right now, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow, because I want to go back and listen to the whole hearing and take some notes and do some stuff on that. But they're going to sit there and lie over and over and over again. Our elected officials in an official hearing are going to lie through their teeth repeatedly. They're going to tell lies that have already been told and debunked with receipts. And there will be no consequences, no criminal consequences. Their voters are utterly immune to the fact pattern, so there won't even be any political consequences. They can just sit there and lie with impunity, and that's going to continue as long as there are no active consequences for that kind of dishonesty. And don't get me wrong, we've seen Republicans lie too. It happens, but it doesn't happen as often. When the lie gets called out, it doesn't get repeated. But you've got Kamala Harris repeating the very fine people narrative at the vice presidential debate in 2020. That was debunked within minutes of it first being printed back in what? It's been almost 3 years, hasn't it? It's ridiculous. Absolutely ludicrous. So they're going to keep pretending that they can claim to be pro-science and all that, when clearly the science and the consensus of the medical community is now against them. So let's get to the other piece of channel-related news. This, well, I'm amused. I'll give them that. Wrong one. Damn it, not that one either. This. There we go. I don't mind covering my face up a little bit so that you can see the email. So this is an email. This is an email from YouTube. Hi, the Brushfire Mind. As you may know, our community guidelines describe which content we allow and don't allow on YouTube. Your video, Boobs for Biden, the desperate plea for your precious votes, was flagged to us for review. So, yes indeed. They removed this morning's live stream, which was entitled Boobs for Biden. It was flagged for review. That tells that language, flagged for review, that tells me that a person actively went in and filed a complaint, right? So, let's take a quick peek. And I don't have this one already pulled up. I wanted to actively pull it up while we're on the air. Let's see. Oh, naked celebrities crying about voting. Celebs sit down for naked election. Hollywood celebrities strip naked for voting PSA and people hate it. Right? There's Access Hollywood. Access. The Late Show still got one up. E.T. Canada still got one up. The Sun still has one up. So what did I do wrong? Because it looks to me like these guys just showed the video, and that's basically what I did. So you know what I did wrong. You know what I did wrong, right? This isn't complicated. That right there, that's what I did wrong. The line of Trump hats right there. The thing that I did wrong is I had the wrong thing. I had the wrong thing. So, Steve asks, tell me you've got a list of videos with boobs in the title. Okay, let's do that. Ooh, this might get me this might get me banned again. Boobs. Just the word boobs. Let's see. The Boobs, Robot Chicken. Nicole Schweitzer busts Conan for staring at her boobs. JD touches a fan's boobs. High School of the Dead, the legendary boob scene. The biggest boobs in the world. Looks like boobs. Ooh. Looks like boobs are okay. So, that tells me that it really is just, I had the wrong thing. Wow, there's an actual vagina on YouTube. I'm actually a little surprised to see that got through. I guess that must be some miracle of life stuff. But, yep, boobs, boobs, boobs. But no. No. Not if you love America. You can throw all the boobs you want on YouTube, as long as you're interested in burning down the country. I don't like burning down the country. And by the way, I got this email at 9:40. Did a half-hour show this morning, which ended at 8:30. Or a little before 8:30. Went a little more than half an hour. So the likelihood that this was flagged and then someone watched it is slim to you're lying. Now, fair enough. This isn't the first time. This is the first time I've actually had a video removed. This is the first time they've just straight removed one of my videos from my channel. It is not the first time I've faced a strike, and hopefully it will not be the first time I lose a strike, because I am going to be filing a complaint, filing a rebuttal, and we'll see how that works out. But this is not censorship in the strictest terms. Obviously it falls under the category of censorship, but let's be very clear. This is active election tampering. That's what Google is doing. They're actively interfering with our elections by removing videos highlighting political information. So, I'm obviously I'm not going to be quiet on this. Now, frankly, I don't really care if the video gets restored. Few dozen people watched it before it went away. I would like to see what the watch count looked like before it went away. But when I say they removed it, like, I can't even see the analytics on it. So I would at least like to be able to see the analytics on it and see who clicked it and what happened there. But and obviously it's not even because you saw, because if you guys saw the thumbnail this morning, the thumbnail that I used for the video had the picture of Sarah Silverman holding her boobs. And that was just a still screen grab from the video, which is, by the way, still active on YouTube. So this is straight partisan censorship, right? If Sarah Silverman can go on YouTube and show her boobs to the world, then I can go on YouTube and talk about how it's a desperate plea for votes for Biden. And one thing that we didn't get to, I'm just going to touch on it quickly, but because I didn't think ahead to talk about this for this particular sit down, because I just got the notification I just saw the notification about the removal, like as I was getting ready to start the show to talk about the whole who warns against COVID lockdowns. But there was a big YouTube star just a couple days ago. I forget her name, but she has one of those OnlyFans channels, where basically you're selling pornography, and she was sending people nudes through her OnlyFans and through private links via her YouTube channel in exchange for people sending in pictures of their mail-in ballot where they were voting for Biden. Right? She wasn't sending nudes to people who proved that they voted. She was sending nudes on the explicit requirement that you had voted for Biden. That's a crime. It's illegal to pay people to vote a certain way. Illinois. So, Bloomberg, if you offer to pay off a bunch of felons' existing debts, to pay off a bunch of felons' existing fines, which is a requirement for felons to vote in Florida. If you're in Florida, you're a felon, and you're out, you're still a felon, right? And in most places in America, being a felon means you can't vote or carry a firearm. Florida has this insane rule that you can vote as a felon. Now, what makes it insane is that that's not the rule everywhere. If that were the rule everywhere, then the math on that insanity would be different. But de Blasio, on the expectation, let's be real, on the clear expectation that most felons are going to vote Democrat, because Democrats are generally just felons that haven't committed crimes yet, because their entire moral structure is based on the simple premise that it is morally preferable to achieve ends through violent means against the will of people who have earned ends through legitimate means, right? A Democrat prefers every time to take your money at gunpoint over earning money by work. That's their base moral code. And that's why felons tend to be Democrat. So de Blasio tried to pay off all their fines so they could vote. That's vote buying. His ass should spend the rest of his life in jail. And he's not the only one. There have been a few other celebrities that have offered to do the same thing. That's a crime. And these people need to be treated like the criminals they are. I think I'm going to wrap it up. That's 24 minutes. That's decent show length. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to wrap this up for today. Okay. Okay. Before I went off the air this morning, I said I was going to go out and run some errands and go ahead and vote because early voting started in Georgia today. I went to vote. I went to the polling place, and the polling place here it's in the old Maxell building on Parker Road, which is a large building. There were two lines going into the doors to the polling place, and the line coming out was all the way around the building on both sides. So, I mean, there easily 1,000, 1,500 people waiting in line to vote this morning. So today's not the day. I ran this by the wife so I could get authorization from Household 6. I'm going to try to just go over there right after the show every morning, at least this week, if not for the rest of the early voting period. And I'm just going to go and live stream from the parking lot over there for a few minutes and let everybody know if today's the day, right? So instead of you guys wasting your time standing in a long, long line, I'm going to go and try to find the most convenient day for you to early vote. So if I get over there tomorrow morning and it's empty, it's nice and easy, nice and breezy through, I'll run through and I'll go ahead and vote, and then I will get on the live stream and I'll let you guys know that today's the day if you want to go vote. Now that's for Conyers residents. That's for Rockdale County residents. And yeah, Steve says watch your distance from the building. There's clear marking that says you cannot campaign past here, but I will not be campaigning. I will be journalisming. So as long as I'm journalisming, and I'll be wearing my journalisming badge that says White House Press Pool on it, even though it's expired, it still says it. My press badging isn't expired. That doesn't happen. My White House credentials are expired because they're from a couple years ago. But I'll be out there hopefully every day this week, and I'll let you know when's the time. You know, today's the day. And I would encourage anybody who can. That will not. I'll see how it works out logistically with the camera and streaming from the phone or whatever. I may do it on Facebook or I may just do it on YouTube. If I can, I'll do it both. But I'll set you up, and that's the show for today. I'll see you guys in the morning. Be safe out there. Bye bye.